Picture this. It's 2 a.m. A customer calls your business, but instead of some groggy employee picking up, an AI answers. And it doesn't just talk, it perfectly understands the request, checks real-time inventory, and flawlessly updates your central database. No humans involved, zero mistakes. Sounds like straight-up sci-fi, right? Well, today, it's actually reality. Let's break down exactly how this works.
Look, replacing a massive 24/7 call center with AI comes with one terrifying risk: hallucinations. What if a customer calls to just update their address, and the AI accidentally deletes their phone number from your system? Honestly, it's a total nightmare that keeps founders awake at night. But there is a completely foolproof way to prevent it.
This explainer is built on a blueprint produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, an educator and builder out of Karachi, Pakistan, who creates flawless AI agents and automations for educators, traders, and startups. We're tearing down his exact architecture so you can take these high-level concepts straight into your own operations. All right, so here's the master automation flow. The user speaks, and that voice hits our front end, Vapi. Vapi then passes the baton to a traffic controller called MCP, which triggers your backend logic in NN and safely updates your database. This exact stack is basically your ultimate human replacement, so let's look at the brain of this operation first. Okay, let's dive into this. To guarantee an AI never hallucinates, it needs an absolutely unbreakable memory. It literally has to know your exact inventory and pricing down to the cent. We achieve this flawless memory using a database called Supabase, but you can't just dump raw data in there and hope for the best. Supabase actually demands a strict three-pillar vector schema. First up, you've got content. That's your searchable text. Second is embedding, which turns those words into numerical vectors so the AI actually understands meaning, not just keywords. And finally, metadata. This is honestly a genius catch-all. Instead of building endless columns for prices, URLs, and images, the system neatly packs all those extra details right into this single metadata column. Now, a quick heads up. If you build this, you will inevitably hit the dreaded type vector does not exist error. It's a roadblock AI models rarely help you fix. The secret workaround? You just manually toggle on the vector extension right there in your Supabase settings. Boom, problem solved. But that introduces a much bigger threat. The data is stored, sure, but how does the AI actually know which tool to trigger when a customer calls without crashing your entire system? Enter the Model Context Protocol, or MCP for short. Think of this as your ultimate air traffic controller sitting between the AI models and your backend workflows. Hard-coding direct API endpoints into your AI is an absolute scaling nightmare. Instead, the AI just sends an intent, something like update order, straight to the MCP. The MCP then instantly routes it to the exact NN workflow. It is infinitely scalable, with absolutely zero hard coding. So, with the brain and the nervous system totally wired up, it's time to give your agent a voice. Our front-end hub for this is Vapi. It handles the whole chaotic web of audio connections so you don't have to sit there piecing together a dozen different apps. Basically, the Vapi assistant holds the persona. For the actual vocal cords, the voice generation, we plug in 11 labs. And here is a massive pro tip for global businesses. If your agent needs to speak Urdu, Hindi, or other non-English languages, route your transcription through Azure for flawless accuracy. Then you just tie the whole shebang to a real phone number using something like Twilio. But listen, a smart voice is incredibly dangerous if it's reckless. Bad prompting lets the AI trigger a backend tool the exact second a customer says, "Update my address," which just sends empty, system-crashing data downstream. Good, strict prompting forces the AI to wait. It absolutely must gather the order ID, ask for the new address, and only execute after all those variables are securely collected. Now, what's really interesting about this is what happens next. Once Vapi collects that data and the MCP routes the traffic, it all feeds into NN for automating the workflows. This is the automation engine, the factory floor, if you will. Let's look at exactly how NN securely fetches, creates, and updates your records. First up, data fetching. When a user asks for, say, a chocolate bouquet, NN queries the database using the ILIK operator. That's a database command that completely ignores case sensitivity. So whether the customer's speech translates to uppercase or lowercase, this operator finds the exact match by meaning, which drastically cuts down your processing time. Next is creating the actual order. How does the AI generate a new invoice number? Inside NN, the workflow reaches into your Google Sheet, grabs the very last order ID, let's say it's 10,013, and uses a tiny JavaScript note to simply add a 1.
It instantly creates 10,014, merges the customer data, and drops a brand new row right into your system. So smooth.
Which brings us to the ultimate safeguard against our biggest fear from earlier, data deletion. If a customer updates their city, what happens to their old phone number? Using simple data update logic, NN checks the incoming data. If the phone field is empty, it actively reaches back, pulls the existing number, and safely rewrites it to preserve the data, rather than overwriting it with an empty value. No blank fields, zero lost data.
Okay, let's recap this full cycle we just built. A user request comes in, and they speak. Vapi perfectly extracts the intent. The MCP routes the traffic without a single hard-coded link. NN executes the logic while shielding your old data. And finally, your database updates in real time. This isn't just theory, guys. This is an enterprise-grade architecture you can deploy right now.
So, ready to scale your operations? You now have the exact blueprint to architect a tireless, infinitely scalable, and totally flawless AI voice agent today. The technology is no longer the barrier. Execution is. If your competitors have an AI answering their 2 a.m. calls flawlessly tonight, what's your human workforce going to be doing tomorrow? Think about that. Map out your workflows, and I'll see you in the next explainer.